Um, did you enter Jame's office at all?
Yeah, before the arrest, no. But when we were being marched to the vehicles, yes, because they forced us through the back door.
Did you have a word with him?
I didn't even see him.
So, after you were marched through Jame's office, where were you taken?
We were taken into a waiting vehicle, and then 2 miles to prison.
Did you hear the government announcement as to what happened?
This would come on a Monday. I was later told. I didn't hear it, but I was later told.
What were you told?
That I entered Jame's office and found him sitting down, and I pointed my pistol to him, and I said, "This is your end." And then I was frozen, like a mummy. And then he came, disarmed me, tied me down, and then that was ended for him.
Can you describe what you mean, frozen like a mummy?
Yeah.
Did he have a magic wand and say, Sanna Sabally, freeze, and suddenly you are frozen?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I don't know why he said so, but for me, this was going to come in the later years. For me, it was like he was establishing that he's invincible, that nobody can do anything to him, and then that was the beginning of his power.
So he suggested to people that he had supernatural powers.
Exactly.
He could freeze people when he wanted.
Yeah.
And then you think that was a lie?
Sorry?
That was a lie.
A big fat one.
So kindly tell us about your time in detention. For how long were you in detention before you were tried?
I was in detention from that January on the 27th, that Friday, until in August, I think, they arraigned me before a court-martial, and 33 charges were brought forward, and the court-martial started, and it went on until on the 22nd of December, when I was convicted for 9 years.
Who prosecuted you?
Justice Michael Felix Kilate. Sorry, he was the president, he was the judge of the court-martial. The prosecutor was Akamba.
Where from?
From Ghana.
Was he alone?
I think, I don't know this person, but it was a Gambian who was with him as a legal secretary, I think. I don't know him.
Was it me?
I think I recognize your face, but I cannot confirm. But I think so. Yeah.
No, it wasn't me.
Okay.
I was doing masters at the time.
Okay.
At the University of the West Indies.
Okay.
So it couldn't have been me. Yes. So I raised that question because it suggested that I prosecuted you, but it wasn't me.
Okay. If you said so, no.
Yes. So you were prosecuted.
Exactly.
And you are convicted.
Right.
Did they call any witnesses against you?
Actually, they call witnesses. As I said yesterday, these issues of my bodyguards harassing people were part of those 33 charges that were levied on me. But all of them were thrown out of the window. However, one would expect the treason charge to stand 100%. It also didn't stand, maybe 20% forced onto me. And they brought in my wife and my twin brother, 3 charges, so to say, on the basis. Yeah.
I don't understand. Your wife and your twin brother were charged together with you in a court-martial.
That was the intention. Because whenever I had traveled out of the country, I had given specific orders to the drivers, to the guards, that they keep these vehicle keys and no vehicle goes out of the compound. However, my twin brother, in our culture, he was also a husband to my wife. Later I come to know, after the court-martial, or during the court-martial, when the charge came out, that Seni used to go to my bedroom and pick the keys from my wife. And then he used to go to Gambia College with this government vehicle, without a driving license. And these 3 charges were on that.
I understand that. That is the basis of the charge.
Exactly.
But my question is, were they also charged together with you in a court-martial? Because that would be very odd.
I'm coming to that in a short moment, please.
Proceed, please.
And then when these charges were read, and I was asked to plead guilty or not guilty, I pleaded for the first time not guilty. My understanding was that I never knew anything about it. And then we had a break, tea break. We were at the tea break, and Felix Michael later said to me outright, "Hi, my brother, you are a soldier. These charge sheets are going to be brought on you, on your twin brother and your wife. They will be convicted, and you will not be released. So the better you sold it, you are a soldier. You can take that." And then we resumed. He read the charges again. Akamba went flat on the ground that no. He take the verdict that I said I was not guilty, and he will prosecute me along that line. Akamba said I overruled.
Who overruled?
Sorry, Justice Felix Michael Latte. He overruled, and he read the charges again, and I pleaded guilty.
And then what happened after that?
At the end, they gave me, the first charges was 2 years, the second was 3 years, and the fourth one was 4 years.
Your investigation, who conducted it?
The military police.
And where was it conducted?
In the prisons. First, we were taken to the army headquarters and told I am going to go to the court-martial. But the investigation team was Sergeant Jassy from the military police at the time. And I will come back to a little bit, if you allow me. When I got arrested on Friday, all my bodyguards and bodyguards of Sadibu Hydra were never arrested. Until on Monday, they were asked to go to work, and they came to work, and then that's where they got arrested and brought to Mile 2. Maybe a week or two later, the records are in the prison, they could be ascertained. Dembo Jiba, who was my driver, and Wahab Koli, who was also my driver, were released, but not to go home. They were taken to the NIA headquarters and later to Fajara barracks. And they have been schooled for 2 good months as to what to say when in the event they were called into my court-martial.
Did you have to face the NIA during the investigations?
Investigation, yes, and many times.
Can you tell us the process of your interrogation? The things that happened during your interrogation?
I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Okay. Actually, all what they wanted to hear from me was that I accepted that I wanted to kill Jame, and weapons would be produced to have said that these were the weapons I was carrying to carry out whatever intentions I had against Jame, and from there, he was going to give me a pardon. And they had brought papers that I have to sign, and I refused, totally.
Who brought the papers?
This were, Alaji Martin was the head of all this.
Could you name the individuals, all of them?
The ones I can remember from the military side were WO2 Alaji Martin, Lance Kapur Senghor, I think he was a Lance Kapur at the time, Lance Kapur Senghor.
What's his first name?
I think would be Lamin,
okay.
if I'm correct.
Lamin Senghor.
I think I would be correct.
Do you know whether he has another nickname?
No, I can't, no.
But in which of the services did he belong to?
He belonged to the Infantry Battalion Yundum.
Do you know a person called Assassin?
Assassin, this is I don't know that name.
You don't know that name, but this person is Lamin Senghor, and Lance Corporal Lamin Senghor, and he used to work with Alaji Martin.
I know Lamin Senghor I'm talking about used to work with Alaji Martin, W to Alaji Martin.
Okay, proceed.
Malafi Kaur, Babukar Bob, the private soldier at the time, not Babukar Mboop.
Yes.
Clarification, please.
Babukar Bob, yes.
Babukar Bob, he was a private soldier in barracks.
Yes.
But at the time, he was at the state guard.
And who else?
And one Ndur, I don't know his name, but he was from the TSG.
Okay.
And PM Sar from the Gambia National Army.
PM Sar.
Pamudu M. Sar.
Okay. Pamudu Sar.
Yeah, correct.
All right. So you've mentioned Alaji Martin, Manlafi Kaur, Lance Corporal Lamin Senghor, Pamudu Sar. And who else?
And Samba Jallo, the driver to Edward Singate.
And Babukar Bob.
And Babukar Bob, correct.
That's right. And tell us what happened when they came to you.
These were on many occasions, the daytime, in the night.
Said many occasions.
Right.
How many can you think of?
I can't recall exactly how the number,
Two?
but I can.
2 times?
More than that, more than 10 times, more than 20 times.
More than 20 times?
Yeah.
And what would they do when they come?
They had always come with a tape recorder, and for most of the time, they would play Jekyll and Hyde, so to say, one good team, one bad team.
Good cop, bad cop.
Exactly. And Malafi Kaur, since he was my batchmate in the military, he was there to play the good cop, so to say. And it was like he was to convince me to say, yes, I had wanted to kill Jame, and yes, I own those weapons that were produced or would be produced. And if I refuse, then the other part would carry on with their tortures. But still, Malaf would be there at certain times. No, stop, he will talk. Stop, he will talk. But I never gave in. Because for me, it was like, I would rather die than to lie to them. Nee.
And what would they do?
Okay. I have to pick certain tortures now that were meted on me and Sadibu Hydra. For example, once they came, they had a bucket of water in confinement number 5. I was in shackle, I was in handcuff. I had 2 handcuffs and 2 shackles on my legs. And I was completely naked in my birthday suit. They took me to confinement number 5. And there I found this bucket of water. They pushed me down on my knees, and then they put a plastic bag. This was a Piccadilly plastic bag, the bigger one, over my head. They tied it at my neck, and then they asked me to confess. And then during the process, they would pull my head down in the bucket with water. And from the water that sips right inside the bag, between the bag and my neck, I realized it was acidic. Gas oil was there, essence was there, and this continued until probably I black out. And they were beating me with a Warrington claw hammer. This was in the hands of Malafi Kaur.
Who was involved in that process?
The people I just mentioned, Alaji Martin, he was always the commander of this team. Lamin Senghor.
What would you call that team?
The torture team.
So your testimony is that Alaji Martin was the head of the torture team.
Every day they came, he was the head. Every day they had come to me.
Proceed, please. And who else?
And Malafi Kaur, this Ndur I talked about, I don't know his first name, but he was from the TSG. PM Sar, Samba Jallo, but Samba Jallo came very few times. Yeah. And later I come to understand, whenever Samba was there, it was somewhere within the prison yard. But this I cannot ascertain.
Who else? You mentioned Samba Jallo.
Exactly.
Manlafi Kaur.
Malafi Kaur.
Alaji Martin.
Alaji Martin.
Who else?
This Lance Corporal Lamin Senghor.
He was there always.
Always, he was
there. He was also a constant.
Constant, he was always there.
These over 20 instances of torture, He was always present.
Always there.
Alaji Martin, these 20 instances of torture, he was always present.
Always present. With the case of Pamodu M. Sar, he had never tortured me directly, but he was always standing at the door.
Okay, proceed, please.
Okay. And another time, they came, this was early in the morning. How do I know it was early in the morning? It was that in the prisons at the back, these are swamp, mangrove swamps, there are birds. When they sing, we know exactly it was prayer time in the morning. And they came, they opened my cell, they said it was time to go for washing. And then they took me across, out of the prison, across to the big side. And it was dipping me inside the water until I felt drowned. They pulled me out. Again, this continued until I think I swooned. I fainted. But along all these tortures, I came to understand whenever I went blackout, they were afraid. And then I also started playing along that line. But not immediately when they started the tortures, I gave in, but I played the dead somehow. And it had helped somehow.
You have mentioned 2 types of torture.
Exactly.
The first is they'll put a Piccadilly plastic bag over your head and dip it in some liquid in a bucket.
Exactly.
That happened until you fainted. It ended. Then the next time they take you to the beach.
Exactly.
And dip your head in the water, in the sea.
Exactly.
Until you fainted.
Exactly.
And what else?
And another time, I don't know exactly where this was, but they came, put a hood on my head, on our eyes, me and Sadibu, and then they took us out in a vehicle. Where they drove, I can tell, but later I found myself inside a shipping container. It was so hot that I thought we were in hell. And we were always completely naked as a needle.
You mentioned that in the first instance of torture, somebody had a hammer.
This is Malavikor.
And was that hammer used at all?
Each time he came with this hammer, I thought it was only for me. He had no spot where he would have beaten me with this hammer or knocked me with this hammer.
I don't understand.
I said there's no part on my body where he had not used this hammer on my body. That's what I wanted to say.
So they hit you with this hammer?
Completely.
All over your body?
Completely.
Throughout this period of tortures, did you cry?
Yeah, I cried until I think I lost all my tears out.
Did anybody try to stop this? Alaji Martin, did he try to stop this?
As I said, the only time they would have a break or a stop is when in the end, as I said, I pretended to have gone blackout, and then they would drag me back into the cells if it were within the premise of the prison yard.
Could you tell us any other form of torture that they used on you?
Another day they came, this was in the night, they put a hood on my head, and now, since where I was, I started to orient myself quickly as to where they're going to take me out. And then I started counting my step. When we left the building, they turned left. So now I knew exactly we're going to the gallows. Or we're going to go to another door which goes inside the criminal convicts, the main yard. But since they have gone direct, and the steps were to a door where I have to step over a concrete embankment, I knew exactly now we are in the gallows area. But at this particular point in time, the thoughts that were reeling in my mind was that I was going to be taken to the gallows. But the steps continued, so I knew, no, I have passed the gallows now. And then we went, and then we stopped at a particular point. And then they removed the hood, and then the tape recorder was there. And then Alaji Martin said, now this is your graveyard. And whether you talk or we bury you here alive.
At the time, where was Sadibu?
Sadibu was not there. I was the only one who was taken on this occasion.
Proceed.
And then, before I could say anything, I just was butt struck at the back, and I felt in this, what they call graveyard. And then they started burying me.
It was a pit.
It was a pit, dug out.
And then?
And then they buried me up to here. And then they put the tape recorder next to my head. And then they said I should talk and say, I wanted to kill Jammeh, and Jammeh is going to forgive me if I say that, and then I own up to owning those weapons. Those were going to be produced in a press conference. And I refused, and then Malafi started hitting me with the hammer until I don't know exactly what went there on. Maybe I went into blackout.
At this point, where was Elijah Martin?
He was always standing giving orders.
Lamin Senghor?
He was also there. They were the ones who were burying me in, or who buried me.
Pamodu Sar?
Pamodu had never, to be quite honest, he had never taken part directly, but he was always standing at the door.
How about Bob?
He was part of it.
Ndur?
Part of it.
How long did this ordeal last?
This happened almost 2-3 times, if I can fully remember.
This burial alive?
Exactly.
It happened 2 or 3 times?
3 times.
Same location?
The same location.
Same people?
The same people, exactly.
And still you could not be broken?
Nay.
How about Sadibu?
Sadibu also had, okay, Sadibu was not buried alive, but I was buried alive.
3 times, you said?
Yes, 2 or 3 times, if I can, I think 3 times, to be exact. It was 3 times.
This place where you were buried alive, where was it?
This was in the prison yard, where the gallows is, if you would know the place. And
so, what other form of torture was used against you?
And another time they came for me, this was in the afternoon. When they came, actually this issue happens many occasions, but on this particular issue, on this particular day, they moved me out. They said, today you have to defecate and eat your excreta.
Meaning you had to eat your own poo, that's what
exactly. Hey, dengay day nga lekka ko. Il mandinka ibe bu kelele bi yela bodom. He pular ahu watande nyama do demandi.
Jola?
Jola, I lost my Jola now. Sorry.
And who said that to you?
This was Alaji Martin and Malafi Kor.
Which Alaji Martin are you talking about?
This is WO2 Alaji Martin, nickname called Lagos.
Do you know what position he now holds in the army?
No, I have no idea.
So, Lagos, what role did he play in all this?
He was the commander of the torture team. Every day they had come for me.
And on this particular day, they wanted you to defecate and eat it.
Exactly.
And tell us what happened.
And in this position, my legs were tied together. My hands were tied. I couldn't move my hands, but I was lying on my back. They put this, because they had tried for me to defecate. I could not. I tried. Definitely I have tried. But I could not. And then they went, and from where they brought this excreta, I have no idea, but they brought excreta. And then they put it on my chest. So I had to lick it like this. I tried, but I could not because my neck could not go, or my tongue could not reach it. And Lance Corporal Lamin Senghor, maybe out of anger, he just picked it up and threw it on my face. And then tried to force it in my mouth. I clenched my teeth together. And then I was so beaten so terribly that I swooned. And then when I woke up, I was...
You passed out?
Yeah, I was in my cell.
At this time, where was Sadibu?
Sadibu also suffered the same situation.
How do you know?
We discussed together. Whenever I was taken, when I was brought back, Sadibu would be taken. But sometimes they take us together. They would first start with Sadibu. I think that was a psychological torture, so to say. And then they will come onto me also.
I think it's about time we take a break, and we will return after 30 minutes.
Thank you, Council. Yes, it's about time we take a 30-minute break and come back at 12 noon. One quick question. I always have the tendency of preempting counsel, but I just wanted to ask the witness, what was the fate of the notebook found on Barrow?
Important question.
Correct. I should have said that earlier. The notebook, when we found it on Barrow's map pocket, we handed it over, personally, I handed it over to Sambaba and Daba Marena. Because Daba Marena was the NIA officer attached to the State House, so that they could continue their investigations.
Thank you. We adjourn the meeting for 30 minutes, come back at 12 noon. Meeting is adjourned. To continue the proceedings,
Yes, Mr. Chair, we are ready to proceed. May I ask that the witness be brought in, please?
please. An audience, can we have a bit of quiet as we start our proceedings? Thank you.
Welcome back, Mr. Sabally.
Thank you.
Audience, can we exercise a bit of decorum, please?
Council, you may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Welcome back, Mr. Sabally.
Thank you.
May I remind you that you are still under oath.
Correct.
And you are expected to be 100% truthful in your testimony.
Correct.
Before the break, we were talking about the kinds of torture that was meted out on you. You indicated that there was an instance. The first one was when a plastic bag was put over your head, Piccadilly plastic bag.
Correct.
And your head is being shoved in and out of a bucket containing liquid of a mixture of acid. Well, it was acidic, but contained gasoline, water, and other liquids.
Correct.
The second instance is when you were taken to the beach and your head was being dipped in and out of the sea until you completely blacked out. And the third is
Point of correction, please. The beach is not only the head, but the complete body was immersed in water.
your complete body was immersed in water.
Correct.
You are being dipped in and out
correct.
until you passed out.
Correct.
Thank you for that correction, Mr. Sabally. You also indicate that you were buried alive almost on 3 different occasions.
Correct.
You also said that in some of the tortures, Manlafikor wielded a hammer, and that hammer was used all over your body.
Correct.
And you indicated that you've been tortured over 20 times. And
Correct.
throughout, during those periods, Elijah Martin, called Lagos, was the head of the torturers.
Correct.
Or was the head of the torture team. You also indicated members of the torture team. You also indicated a fourth type of torture, which is when you are being forced to eat. Yes.
Correct.
So now let's proceed. Have you ever, well, what other means of torture were also used against you?
Can I say something quickly?
Please go ahead.
These tortures intensify in the first 2 months of my arrest, before the visit of the ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross.
That's right. So we want to have the full spectrum
Okay.
of the various types of torture that were meted on you. We also want to know their effect on you and other people, their impact and all that. So proceed now with your testimony regarding the other types of torture that was meted out on you.
Another time they came with a long bag. It's called this sankilo bag, this long one. This groundnut bag, I will call it for all of us to understand the type of bag I'm referring to. And then when they came, they tied my legs, tied my hands, and then they put me inside this bag. And then I was hung up in the air on the ceiling, and then this bag was swinging left and right, front and back. And I was head down.
How did it feel?
It's like I was a ping pong ball. When they shoved me to the left, Malafi shoved me back. Raj Martin shoved me through back to Malafi, and it was like that, going and coming, going and coming.
How did it feel to you?
Dizzy, completely. My blood completely came on my head, and I swooned at one point.
You passed out.
Completely.
And throughout this period, what was their objective?
I believe they wanted to break my spirit completely. One, in that I would lie, because they had always come with a tape recorder. And later I come to understand they had always recorded these incidents and they had shown it to Jame.
Recorded how? Video?
Video again now, but that one I cannot confirm. But the tape recorder was always there.
So apart from being hung up the ceiling, with your head down in a groundnut bag or sack, so to say, what else did they do to you? Can you tell us about the short shackles?
Okay. These were some of the moments when they would come with an electric machine, and they had electrocuted me. They would apply one of the electrodes on my neck, on my tongue, and then the other on my penis. And they would be adding the voltage slowly, voltage high and voltage down. And these all were accompanied with beatings. And yeah.
They electrocuted you?
Genau.
On your penis and on
my
your
penis
tongue?
and my tongue.
Who did that?
Alaji Martin and Lamin Senghor.
Where did this happen?
This happened in Mile 2 for the first time. Then the second time, they took me to the NIA headquarters.
And at the NIA headquarters, who did it?
This I cannot tell exactly who, where, but there was one name I heard clearly was Dabo, but I don't know his first name, but they used to call him Dabo. Yeah. On
this particular occasion, was Alaji Martin there?
Yeah, he had always come for me. For tortures, he was always there. He was never absent.
Lamin Senghor?
Lamin Senghor was always there.
PM Sar?
PM Sar, as I said, he had never touched me physically, but he was always standing by.
Manlafi?
Manlafi, yeah. He was also there.
Ndur?
Ndur also was there. These are TSG personnel.
Bach Sambaba?
Bach hardly comes every day. His comments were not oft.
Babukar Bob?
Babukar Bob also was not always.
So, you said this electrocution was done together with beatings.
Exactly.
Can you describe the beatings? What would they use against you?
As I said, Malafi had always come with this Warrington claw hammer. And for him, this was the weapon he had always used on me. And that's why I lost my disc tooth on the left-hand side here.
And apart from this electrocution, did they use another method of torture on you?
Correct. This was another time when they came. As I said, I was always naked completely, like a needle. And they took me out first. Then they brought Sadibu. He was in the prisons and in confinement number 5. And there in the corridor, they let us down first, and then they took a pin, long pin. This was iron, and then they drove it right inside my penis. And then the same thing was done to Sadibu, right in my presence. And whilst they made the same thing to me, he was standing watching. And the other day they came, for the first time in my life, I come to know what a G-string is. They brought 2, they asked me to wear it by force. And then they did the same thing to Sadibu. They said we should pose as prostitutes, so to say, in their term. And along the line, they said I should, with Sadibu Hydra, we should make homosexual actions, meaning I should have sex with Sadibu Hydra. And I refused, or we refused. Yeah, they beat us to death, so to say.
Who did that?
Alaji Martin, Lamin Senghor, Ndur, Malafikor, on this particular occasion.
When you said they beat us to death, what do you mean?
As always, Malafi had his claw Warrington hammer, and then they used the butt of the AK-47 to bust us.
Do you know what was it that was used to be inserted in your penis?
I think it would be the small iron in a bicycle. It looked like that, not exactly. In a bicycle.
The spook.
Genau, the spokes of a bicycle, but it is not that exactly, but it looks like that.
How did it feel?
Terribly painful, and that's why they ruptured my bladder.
How did these people react when you were agonizing, when you were in pain? How did they react?
Unless I go black out, they never stop. Or when Malafikor had played the good cop, then they limit it and then start again. Because then they would ask if I have to talk. When I don't, then it continues again.
Who asks the questions?
It is always Alaji Martin who directs the questions to be asked. And Lamin Senghor was always asking. And Malafikor was the good cop.
Apart from this type of torture, what other method did they use on you?
I want to come to the, but I would want here to mention I had two ladies with me in the residence. These two ladies, when I got arrested, they were picked up, but not at mile 2. They were taken to NIA headquarters for 2 months. It was when I discharged from the prisons, they got to tell me all the ordeals they underwent at the NIA headquarters. These two ladies were very close to me. They were taken to the NIA headquarters. According to them, they were stripped completely naked, and at the NIA headquarters, bananas were used, sticks were used as dildos right into their womanhoods. I'm sorry for the language. And they have been told, you will never have a man inside you anymore because we will destroy your womanhood. And this continued for 2 good months before they were eventually released. I learned from them the person they could identify was one Baba Drame.
Did they say anything about the questions they were asked at NIA?
They were asked if I had told them anything of my plans or would-be plans to get rid of Yaya. And they were asked also to confirm what statements they were going to say in the event they were brought before me. And once that was done, while they tortured them, I was brought in and I stood and I watched how they were being tortured.
You mean that you were taken from mile 2,
Exactly.
brought to NIA,
Exactly.
and made you watch
Exactly.
while these two women
Exactly.
who were close to you were being tortured?
Tortured, exactly.
Who did that?
It's the NIA headquarters personnel. I don't know them exactly, but as I said, one person I could remember was called Dabo, but I don't know him in person. But this name I kept in my brain since then.
And what kind of torture did you see?
At this particular time, on this issue, on this day, as I said, they had used bananas and dildos inside their womanhoods.
And who was administering this gruesome process?
This was this Dabo I'm talking about.
As this was being done, were you being asked questions?
Nay, at this particular point, nay, they didn't ask me questions, but later they moved me into another room where they asked me to sign the statement that I wanted to kill Jame. If not, they will bring these ladies and they will kill them in my presence.
Did you sign?
I didn't sign anything.
You still refuse?
I still refuse, yeah, correct.
They still can't break you?
Nay.
How about Haidara?
Haida was also the same thing. But on this particular day at the headquarters, at my headquarters, Haida was not there.
Can you give us a description of this Dabo?
He's a tall guy, tall, slanky somebody. If I could remember, the intonation is either from Gunjur, Sukuta, or Sanyang. This is the Mandinka dialect there.
Thank you very much for that. But apart from this Dabo, you could not recall anybody?
Any other person.
Do you recall who escorted you from mile 2 to NIA on this occasion?
Alaji Martin's team always had come for me if I have to leave mile 2 for tortures.
Could you kindly remove your hands from your mouth so we can hear you clearly? I know this is very difficult. We crave your indulgence. It is important that we bring things out so that the Gambian people would know some of the things that Gambians have done on other Gambians. It is absolutely important. I am terribly sorry. So, on this occasion, was it just Alaji Martin or was it the entire team?
Alaji Martin was there, Malafikor was there, Lance Corporal Senghor and Ndur was there.
And these women were kept at NIA for 2 months, you
2
said?
months, according to their information they gave me.
But you confirm seeing them at the NIA when this process of torture was being meted out on them?
Exactly.
How did it feel seeing these two women close to you being treated in such a barbaric manner?
Horrific. Yeah. If perhaps if they were military personnel, I could understand.
Military personnel do not deserve to be tortured.
No, what I mean is probably is that they could have undergone a training where they could resist some of these things. I mean.
Nobody deserves to be tortured.
Okay.
Nobody. Apart from this method of torture, what other method did they use on you?
Another time they brought in this, I don't know where they got it, but if one is from the villages, if you had a sweater on, mostly you walk into the bush, these closed footpaths, the seeds come attached to you. It has
Thorns.
Thorns, exactly, correct. Thank you for the word. And these were spread on the wall, sorry, on the floor, and this was in the NIA headquarters. And then we were naked, me and Sadibu. They drag us on these thorns, edges.
And what happened when your body came into contact with these thorns?
Lacerations, we sustained lacerations, and they poured cold water, ice water on us.
For how long did this happen?
As long as I can remember, we were there in the morning, and when we came, I found my lunch in the cells. So this could be around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Were you conscious throughout, or you
When they
passed
brought
out?
me back this summer, I was conscious.
And who participated in this incident?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Ndur, and Malafikor. As I said, Private PM Sar had never laid hands on me.
How would you describe these people, Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Ndur, and Bob? How would you describe them?
Well, they are torturers, that's all.
Your word is they are what?
They are torturers.
Torturers, that's what you said. What do you say to the suggestion that you were never tortured, they just asked you questions? What do you say to that?
That is totally false. That is totally false.
Do you know what is called waterboarding?
Right.
Have you ever experienced it?
Yeah. I think I'd prefer if you would only read it, please.
It's all right. I would skip it. But can you confirm to us that you experienced it?
Yeah, many times.
Who did it to you?
Alaji Martin and his team, Malafikor, Lance Corporal Senghor, and Ndur.
If you don't mind, I can read out an excerpt from your statement.
Please.
If only if you don't mind.
I agree.
You had this to say, and I quote, "On this session, we were told it's a washing day, an order from the president. Quote, take them to their washing, unquote. As if we were circumcised, initiated children to take their first bath after 1 month in the bush or woods. This was around 3 to 5 a.m., I calculated, or knew from the early morning birds singing. We were taken to the sea just across the highway, directly in front of the prisons.
Correct.
We were in our usual torture sessions uniform, in brackets, birthday suit, that is stark naked, and costume jewelry, that is shackles and handcuffs. Right. The air was very cold and windy. The seawater was near freezing point. By the baser intelligence interrogation methods called waterboarding, they strapped us down and pushing us under the water until we were made to believe one might drown. We had been in this way on and on, held underwater until we had in fact begun to drown and lost consciousness, only to be revived by our torturers and submerged again. It was one of our worst memories and experiences. That's what you said.
Correct, 100% correct.
Who did this to you?
Alaji Martin, Olavikor, Ndur, and Lance Kapul Senghor.
You were also subjected to the water pit treatment.
Genau.
In your statement, you said as follows: there was the water pit, in which most communal cell blocks in the jail that is housing the criminal convicts empty their waste matter. Also thrown into this pit was every type of conceivable dirt. We are made to stand on tiptoe to avoid drowning. Who did this to you?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Kapul Senghor, Malafikor, Undur.
Other sessions, we were left gagged with our hands tied on the top of our cell door after being questioned by the NIA and the close bodyguards or soldiers to the president. Who are you referring to? Which bodyguards or soldiers to the president?
This was the time Khalifa Bajinka took part in this session with Musa Jammeh, plus Alaji Martin and his team.
You went on to say that at one location you were blindfolded and hooded and kept in scorching hot shipping containers.
Correct.
We went through that.
Okay.
You also described that on one occasion you were chained for a week.
Exactly. There I would explain, in the cell, in confinement number 1, cell number 4, both ends of the room, this room is 2.25 meters long, 2.5 meters, the width and length is almost the same, maybe the height would be 3 meters. And as I said, on the head side is a raised bankment, and at the foot end also is the same thing, maybe 50 centimeters high. And this is where normally the plank of wood as a bed is laid upon. But there they dug in the wall, and then they put an iron bar there, and on the foot side also they put the same iron bar. And the plank of wood was removed, and I was tied in my handcuff. And on the bed side, in the head side, I was chained. And then in the left side, on the feet side, I was chained and I was hanging there. And this was the time I was left there for that long.
No wooden plank under your body.
Nah.
You are forced to suspend pretty
Exactly.
much. How did it feel?
Yeah. My tendons were all completely, yeah.
Up to now, you would not talk.
Nay, I never gave in. Up to the day I left prison, I never gave in.
Another time, tell us about the efforts to insert certain things in your body. Would you be willing to talk about that?
Yeah.
Tell us.
This was also another day. They put an iron inside my anus, and I was hanging by my hands on the ceiling, but barely my feet touches the ground. And since my weight, whole body weight was on my wrist, if I tried to move, it was like I would be impaled by the iron inside my anus.
Who did that to you?
Alaji Martin Lance Corporal Senghor, Malafikor, and Ndour.
What do you mean by impaled? I know the word, I know the meaning.
Yeah, this was like if I bring my weight down on my feet, it picks me right inside my anus. So I am forced to stay exactly where I am on my wrist at the sling like this.
And being impaled means that the stick or the metal rod would pierce through your body
Exactly.
and come out from your head.
Is what
If you were to fall down directly into onto that rod.
exactly.
How about castration? Do you hear anything about that? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. This was a repetition of what they asked us to do. That means I have to have sex with Sadibu Hydra and Sadibu with me. And since we refused, they said, okay, then we will castrate you, since you don't want to have sex together with each other. And this was the time they started with Hydra. They forced him down on the ground. They put an iron bar under his testicles. And Maleficor took the claw pen Warrington hammer. And then they force bit the muscles on the testicles, or inside the testicles. And I am not a doctor at the time. I am not a medical personnel at the time. But if you were today, I would definitely say the cause of Sadibu's death was from that. Because thereafter, he bled up to the day he died. Nostrils, ears, anus, penis, everything was blood.
Who did that to him?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Malafikor, and Ndour.
Your testimony is that Sadibu died from this torture.
I would say that.
Who killed him?
This would be from these tortures, Malafikor, Lance Corporal Senghor, Alaji Martin, and Ndour.
Your testimony is that Sadibu Haidara was murdered by Manlafikor, Alaji Martin, alias Lagos, Lamin Senghor.
Correct.
I have here a copy of the investigative report that was done by the NIA.
Okay.
It is part of the documents we received from the NIA. And it says, the caption is investigation report. I am passing a photocopy to the chairman and I'll be reading from the original. It says investigation report on the sudden death of Captain Sadibu Haidara.
Okay.
Would you agree to that headline?
No, totally not.
And it went on to say as follows. On Saturday, 3rd June 1995, Captain Sadibu Haidara, a former Minister of the Interior and member of the AFPRC, who on Friday, 27th January 1995 was detained at Mile 2 prisons along with 26 others for their alleged attempt on the life of AFPRC chairman and head of state, Captain Yahya AJJ Jammeh, in an attempt to seize power, died in his cell in the remand wing at Mile 2. The aim of the report is to highlight the outcome of the investigations into the sudden death of Sadibou Haidara. And the case history suggests that the late ex-captain Sadibou Haidara met his death on Saturday, 3rd June 95, while in his cell at the remand wing due to an illness. And it says, according to the investigations, the late Sadibou, for the past years, had been complaining of hypertension. During his dissension too, he complained of fever and revealed he was a hypertension patient. Is that true?
I have many points of correction on this information. One, Sadibou never complained of any high blood issues. Two, he didn't die at the remand wing in the State Central Prison. He died in security wing number 1 in cell number 9, exactly at 1600 hours 17, in my hands.
Let me read out the findings of the report.
And he died on the 6th, not on the 3rd.
Thank you very much for that. How come you still recall this date?
This date, I will never forget it in my life. Yeah.
The findings of the report. It says as follows. A thorough investigation was made to find out about Sadibou Haidara's death. There is no evidence of foul play being detected, and during the post-mortem, he was found to be well-built, well-nourished, and no external signs of injury was detected too. He was just found to have had oedema hypertension and multiple liver problems. The results of the post-mortem exercise have specified the cause of death. Conclusion. Sadibou Haidara is therefore deemed to have died on a natural death while in detention at remand wing in Mile 2. Signed by investigative officers J.B. Mendy and Fodebari. Is this report true?
It's totally false. It's a fabrication. For me, if the doctor who made the post-mortem wrote this information to these two officers, his license to operate as a medical personnel should have been revoked immediately.
It's a cover-up.
Exactly. Sadibou died in my hands 1600 hours 17 on the 6th of June.
Or the 3rd, which one?
It's not on the 3rd, it's on the 6th. We prayed 2 o'clock prayers. We were waiting for 5 o'clock prayers. I and LF Jame were playing Scrabble, and Sadibou went back into his cell and laid down. And then he called me. I came, and he was lying down on his back, and he said, "Help me, I'm seeing my grandmother." I said to him, "Yeah, you are seeing your grandmother, but you are in Mile 2 here. Do not worry, we'll go out of this place alive." And all of a sudden, I saw the eyes were changing, and I knew he was nearing his death. But still, I kept with him. And then he asked me, "What do you do with people who didn't understand where you stand for them?" Meaning the council members who betrayed us. And he told me, there's a verse in the Holy Quran which deals with forgiveness. Let us forgive them. And then he asked me to read Suratul Yasin for him, and we did. I did rather. And then I called Babu Kanjai, I called Ablai Bojang, he was a prison officer, who was the sergeant who was in charge of us. Then I called the two, and then they came. I told them, help me to lay him down properly on his back. And we laid him properly on his back. And I asked Njai to go out and Ablai Bojang to go out. And I stayed with him. until he breathed his last. Exactly 1600 hours 17 on the 6th of June.
You did not forget
No,
even a second in that time.
no. Because immediately he passed out, he closed his eyes. I closed his eyes. I asked Guy to tell me the time. And he told me exactly it was 1600 hours 17.
You did not want to forget that time.
No, I can't forget
in your
that
life.
time. I can't. Sadhu is part of me. And he will ever remain to be part of me.
Yes, I mean, if your wife wants to come and assist, she can. Feel
No,
free.
it's okay. I can carry on. It's okay.
Thank you.
I can carry on. Now I come back to my own
Yes,
frustration.
yes.
When Sadhu passed out in these tortures, I'm not talking about his death now, but I did.
At the time of the torture.
Exactly.
Yes.
They were confused, but they never stopped. And then they put him aside. And then I was brought in, forced on the ground. They put the same iron bar under my testicles. And Malaf came with his hammer again. And he started beating the muscles that joins the testicles and the other sexual organs within the body. I think at one point I also got blackout, pass out. And since the day on until I discharged, we got no medical attention. When I left the prisons, my fear came true that I had sexual dysfunction from these tortures. Of course, I underwent through medical treatment for all these years. And thank God, it has completely not healed, but better.
They attempted to castrate you.
Exactly.
Mr. Sabally, how do you feel that you've gone through all these types of torture in the hands of your former colleagues and your brothers in force, your brothers in arms? How do you feel?
I felt betrayed in as much as I had done nothing. The accusation in quotation, yeah, I felt betrayed completely.
We have had testimony that this was poetic justice. You had tortured people.
Okay.
It was your turn to be tortured.
Exactly.
That is the way it goes.
Exactly. What goes around
What-
comes around.
Or what exactly? What do you say to that?
Correct.
Do you regret the tortures that you meted out on other people?
I do, wholeheartedly. I wish I knew at the time what I know today, and what I learned in the prisons, I wish I had known it before. Meaning, in the prisons, as I always say, it's the last university for me in the world. I had learned wisdom, humility, patience, and understanding. And that's why I came out of prison not bitter, but better. And I had forgiven all of them.
That is deeply profound. You came out not bitter,
Nay,
but better.
exactly.
Deeply profound. What do you harbor in your heart for those people who meted out this gruesome torture on you?
I had nothing against them. For Malafikor, we saw in the prison before I discharged, At one point he came, I think he fell out with Jame and he was sent out of the state house back to Fajara barracks. And once he came with Lieutenant Combo. And when Combo came, normally he must come with an escort. Out of curiosity, I asked, where are your escorts? He said, it's your class, meaning Malafikor. I said, where is he? He said, he's at cell number 4. And then I said, why not you call him to come in? And then he went and forced him to come. And when he came, I said, but why didn't you come to our cell number 1 when you are the escort to Lieutenant Combo? He stood down. I said, we know each other from the training. What you have meted on me, I knew you would have done it alone. You were sent. But you have done your bit. I have forgiven you. And since then, yeah, why not we became good friends? Each time he came, we talked. And it was along this line that he revealed most of these things, that whenever they were torturing me, beside the tape recorder, they had filmed it on video. And they had shown it to Jame to watch. But as I said, this part I cannot confirm.
What happened to my man Lafikor ultimately?
I don't know where he is exactly.
He's dead.
Oh. May God
You never had?
may God have mercy on his soul. I never had his death. Oh, yeah.
What do you feel about Alaji Martin?
If I see him also, I would forgive him. I have nothing against them. Absolutely nothing. Even Jame, as I said, when I left the prison, the day I left the prison, right at the main gate, I had said it clearly. I have forgiven him.
But your ordeal did not stop after your conviction.
Yeah, klar. It will not stop. I knew it will not stop. But I don't have to live in that situation. I have to find a better future.
Well, tell us about the attempts to have you poisoned.
Okay. This was the last 6 months before I discharged from prison. Actually, the timing ranges for 2 years, 3 months. It all came about, I was sentenced for 9 years, and normally as a citizen of the country and a convict, I was supposed to be given a parole after having served 6 years, 9 months, meaning 3/4 of the sentence. And this was supposed to be September 2001. October or September, I can't recall exactly, but if we calculate 6 years, 9 months, it will take us around August or September or October 2001. I was not relieved. I went to David Colley. I told him. That day, David Colley, he wept. He showed me that it was not him, and I confirmed. He showed me the letter he wrote to the Minister of Interior, asking for my release. But the Minister of Interior, of course, they also couldn't do anything. They wrote back that I was not going to be released. And I told David Colley on the face, I said, me, I knew this remaining 2 years, 3 months, I will serve it to the end. Meaning I have to serve the whole 9 years completely to the end. But I made it clear to him, I will not die in the prisons. I will go alive. This I knew. And I told him also to give me a new uniform, the prison uniform. I insisted until he gave me 2 pairs.
In which part of the prison did you serve your term?
In security number 1, cell number 4.
Not even general convicts?
No, I was throughout in that one-man cell for 9 good years.
Most of the time wearing what?
In my birthday suit, completely naked. And for most of the time, they had poured water in the cell, and I would be on that concrete floor with water.
Tell us about the attempt to poison you.
Okay. It went up to the last 6 months before my discharge. The first attempt, I believe, was to put me in another charge to extend my prison term. And this was done by one Yaya Jaju. At the time, he was a superintendent. Because he used to tell me, they name Yaya Jammeh after me, because his name also was Yaya. He come from, I believe, Faraba Bantang. But for me, that was not important. And as I would say, in the prison, the diet, the food we have two types of food in the prisons. One is the general diet, meaning GD, and the other one is the high protein we call HP. This general diet was for everybody in the prison. If anyone was to be given this HP, the high protein, you must have gone to the hospital and a doctor would have prescribed this particular food for you. And throughout my stay in the prisons, for the past 8 years, 6 months, I never thought to have that opportunity. And I was never sick where I went to a doctor and the doctor prescribed such a particular food for me. And knowing my relationship with this particular yaya, this superintendent, I never expected such a gesture also from him. From nowhere, out of the blue, one day he came smiling with a small piece of paper. He came, I was in the cells, and he knocked, they opened the door, and he said, today you are promoted. Because that's the term we use in the prisons, meaning you have graduated from the general diet to the high protein. What it means, the difference is only that the general diet, this is the general cooking for everybody in the prisons. So this HP, why they call it HP is only that it contains more vegetables. And maybe if you have to have a fish, it will be a whole fish. If it have to be meat, probably also maybe 3, 4, 5 pieces of meat. That's the only difference. Fine. When he came with this piece of paper, small paper, he said, Sabally, today you are promoted. For me, what was it? I was still in the prison. And then he said, from today, you will get the high protein diet. And you will get 2 basins, meaning my lunch, my dinner would be the same. I only said to him, thank you. But for me right now, my brain has started working. One, as I said, I was never before a doctor, for that particular doctor to prescribe such a food for me. And I knew this particular yaya would never, on his own accord, give me that chance to have that particular food in the prison. Never. So I knew something was amiss. I prepared myself psychologically, but what it was, I could not tell and I cannot tell. We were there. They started bringing the food. It came normal, every day 2 basins, apart from the breakfast. I will eat. The other basin I will give to Suleiman Sarr. This Suleiman Sarr was the one who was involved in the Farafenni attack. And it went on, until one day, my suspicions became true. In the prison at the time, we have the chief cook, who was Jere Koli. We have the assistant chief cook, was also Koli. I forgot his name.
Where are these colleagues from?
They're from Casamas.
They're not Gambian?
No, they were serving jail terms also. Okay. The second, the chief cook was Jere Koli. The second one was Salif Koli. Jere and Salif. Okay. My wife's surname is Koli, so I built a good rapport with the 2 of them, even before this incident, meaning to change my diet from general diet to high protein. And Salif Koli, the deputy chief cook, was responsible for cooking and dishing out this HP, this high protein. And as I said, he used to bring this food to me. And when he didn't come, it was Harbabu, he was serving life sentence, he used to come. And in the prisons, we have a helper at the infirmary, at the clinic, Ablaiba. He was serving life sentence. There are 2 Ablaibas, they were all serving life sentence, but here I mean the younger one. One day, Salif Koli came, brought my food. I was playing Scrabble with Elef Jame, and normally when they come with my food, I would motion them if they found us doing something like playing draft or playing Scrabble, or doing nothing but we are sitting outside during break periods, they will take the 2 basins and put it inside my cell on the table. Actually, this table was just a cement slab. Now, on this particular day, Salif came with these 2 basins and then went inside my cell and stood instead of putting the basins down and come out as usual. So he called Alolom in Jola, meaning my in-law. My Jola has come back now. Now he called me Alolom. I say, yeah. Joe, come in Jola. I was playing Scrabble. I didn't go. I told him, put it down on the table where you used to put it. So he was still standing there. Then he called again, Alolom, Joe. So LF said, Wulieta, maybe I keep money fendekam in Mandinka. Reluctantly, I woke up, I got up, I went. But then the officer who escorted them followed behind me immediately. And as soon as I entered my cell, he told me in Jola, Tamburi Sinyangas, meaning, do not eat this food today. I don't know what was the reason. So I said, okay, and he left with the officer who was escorting them. So the 2 basins were standing there. Since the others have their food, I ate from their basins. In the evening, the morning shift had gone home. In the evening, they brought our dinner. Mine was already in the cell. As I said, I had 2 basins every day. My lunch and dinner comes together. When they brought the other basins for the other detainees there, or the other convicts, Harbabu came and Ablai Sow, this younger Ablai Sow, who was a helper at the infirmary. Normally in the evening, he brings medication for prisoners who were in the security wing to take their evening doses. And when he came, Salif had told him, go and tell my in-law that in the food, there was something Yaya had put inside your food. How it happened, later he explained to me, he himself, that whenever they wanted to put something inside, Yaya would tell him, if you finish cooking before you take the basin to Sanna, bring them to my office.
Which Yaya?
This is Yaya Jaju, the superintendent in the prison service.
Proceed.
And he would take these 2 basins to Yaya at his office. And if you would know where this building is in the prisons, it has just behind you is glass doors. Anybody who stands outside can see somebody right inside. And then Salif said he stood and watching. But he don't know what Yaya put inside the food into these 2 basins, but he knew he put something inside these 2 basins. And then he would call him inside, and Salif will enter the office and take these 2 basins and bring them to me. And he had told Salif who never mentioned it because he had asked him, did you see anything? No. Okay. And it continued like that. So each time Salif took this basin to the superintendent Yaya Jaju, Salif would make sure that he sent me a message. But also he would make sure that he sent another basin under Suleiman Sar's name, which is also a high protein but not a full basin. Meaning he could give it to Suleiman Sar as a gift, but this was meant for me. And when these 2 basins were all brought to me, in the prisons is a law. When the prisoner refused to eat his food or her food, they would record and take it to the headquarters. So all along, I also played along the line. When the 2 basins were brought and I was informed that Yaya had put something inside, I would take these 2 basins, dip my hand in both these 2 basins for the lunch one, and the dinner one also I would do the same thing, as if somebody had eaten from these 2 basins, and put it in my kemba pot, meaning where I make my pee-pee. Now, in the morning, when they come, they will look at the 2 basins and see that it's like, oh, he has eaten. But I never ate from those 2 basins.
What do you say was the effect of the conduct of Koli?
David Koli or which Koli, sorry?
The cook.
He informed me.
He saved your life, didn't he?
Exactly. And I would come to that, what also I did when I left prison.
What other attempt was made on your life while you were in prison?
These were the moments when they would torture me, and then they would send the information outside that Sanna had hit his head on the wall. Actually, they would do that, but the information will go around as a rumor that Sanna has hit his head on the wall and he has broken his head.
How about the injections?
This would come on the 29th of August 2003.
Tell us about it.
This was from James, Couple James, but the one who administered this injection was Famara Sane. He was, before coming to the prison department, he was at the army.
He was at which army?
The Gambia National Army.
What's his full name?
Famara Sane.
And what did he do to you?
This time I had malaria. And for 2 weeks I was laid low by malaria. I was never taken to the hospital or attended to. And one fine afternoon or in the evening, first came James, this James Jaju. They were both working in the infirmary in the central prison. James came, he asked, I said, yes, I had malaria. I was still lying down on the bed. And then he went back. The next, the two of them came, and Famara came with a syringe and needle. Before I could realize anything, chuck on my left thigh. And up till today, this pain is there, and I have my legs, the right is longer than the left one.
From that injection?
From that injection.
Do you know what they injected in you?
No, I don't know. I can tell. For me, my fear factor was 1. And whether, fine, it might have been fancy in my brain. Maybe they injected me with AIDS, nobody knows. Hepatitis, nobody knows. Things like that were reeling in my mind. Or a deadly poison that could eat in me eventually. When I had to leave the prisons, maybe a month or 2, I could die. And it would have been seen as a natural death.
Were you able to walk after this injection?
Nay, for 2 good months, I was not able to walk.
Do you know what information went out of the prison concerning your leg?
That I was paralyzed.
How do you know that?
My family members told me. In fact, one of my auntie who was here right now, but she's gone home, could have attested to that. And David Colley also could attest to that. Famara Colley also could attest to that. He was an SPO at the time. And Balajo, I forgot his name, but he was also an SPO. I go into this one quickly. This particular day, it was around between 4 and 5. The morning duties had ended their tour of duty, and the afternoon duties were there. And then Ablai Bojang came quickly and said, dress up, you have a visitor. I said, okay. You can't take me like that without telling me who I'm going to visit. Because at this time I had no visitor.
Why did you have to dress up?
I had to go to the headquarters.
Yes, but why did you have to dress up? You didn't have any clothes on?
No.
You were always naked?
Yeah, in this particular point I was naked. Then he threw the uniform on me. Of course, between Abla and me, this is Jola and Fula. And then I dressed up. He took me to the headquarters. And when I arrived at the headquarters, my auntie was standing, but her back towards me. And she was there quarreling or trying to find out with with Famara Colley. Because Balajo and Famara Colley, they look alike. They are all short and the same prison uniform. So for her, as she later told me, was that she told Balajo, or David Colley told Balajo, go and bring Sanna. And Balajo came in. So all of a sudden, she was facing the headquarters and Famara Colley came from the other end. So for her, it was like Balajo went this other side of the confinement and come out from the other door, was trying to avoid her. And then she told him, and it was like, then I arrived with Balajo and Ablai Bojang. Then when I arrived from her back, I hooked her from the rear. And then she turned. Then she said, Yarebe Balurin in Fula, deket a wuri. I told him in Fula, Hoko. Then she told me, I'm just having lunch, and a lady friend of mine come and said they have just buried you at Josuang Cemetery. And I said, but who told you? They said, it's my friend. I said, your friend told you that? Yes. And I told her, if I have to die here, you will know about it. Here I will leave this prison alive. And then she left for home.
Mr. Sabally, I have no further questions for you, but I'll yield the floor to the commissioners to ask whatever questions they have, and thereafter you would be given an opportunity to address the Gambian people. I would prefer that you do it in local languages. Speak Wolof or Ofula. We have heard you in Mandinka yesterday, and this is just for listeners who do not understand English to be able to hear you or aspects of your testimony in their own languages. But the choice is yours.
If I have the permission, can I say something quickly? It's just...
Please, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know how far, whether we're going to sit again to continue, but I want to make a correction here. We're all Gambians. I have no problem with any journalist, but lies have been paraded and is on endless... Okay, sorry, I'm talking Dutch now. Endlessly, lies have been paraded. And I would like to make a clarification. Umar Ba was a journalist here in the Gambia. When I discharged from the prison, he was not the first journalist who interviewed me. Correction. It was Sirif Bojan Jr. who interviewed me right at the main gate of the prison when I stepped out. 1. 2, he just wrote not long ago that anti-athlete source here was the one who harbored me, gave me housing, and yeah, you could find this information in the internet. I am saying I am not ungrateful to anybody. I will not deny knowing anti-athlete source like any other person here, but she never knew where I was. We never saw when I left the prisons. Not anti-athlete, not her daughter, Leitafa Source. I am asking, please, if we have to give any information as far as the TRRC is concerned, let us give the real truth to the Gambian people. No more lies. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, your witness.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Sabally, for your candor and for your testimony. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Yes, Commissioner Carr, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. I have some questions. The first is, I'm interested to know how you came up with the decrees during the transition period.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
The decrees, the military decrees.
Okay.
And what if you played any role in that?
Okay. I am not a legal-minded person, but we employed the services of our Justice Minister at the time, Fafa Idris Sambai. He guided us through this process.
Thank you. The second question is, when you initially came into power, you faced a lot of opposition from the international community. How were you able to deal with that?
I am most grateful that you come up with this question. And here, I think we would, if you look at the negative part, we should also look at the positive part of our council at the time. With the international community, we really had hell with them. At one point, the diplomacy didn't work. Personally, it didn't work. And one time I was in Sierra Leone, they gave me a call and said, oh, we run into trouble with the diplomatic community. They have given a travel advice, meaning they banned their citizens from coming to the Gambia. I said, okay. I canceled my trip, I come home. Luckily, I arrived here, I think, in the afternoon before 3 o'clock. I convened a meeting of the American ambassador, James Molly Scott, who was the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, and another Colin Wood, who was the EEC representative in the Gambia, if I can fully remember the name. And I told them clearly, I asked them, especially the EEC representative, what was the problem that you withdraw your citizens, you gave a travel ban for your citizens to come into the Gambia? Proudly he said, because the Gambia is on fire, so we will not allow our citizens to come into the country here. I said, very good. I got up, I called Naisise, the Director of Immigration. I said, from this second, you put them on persona non grata. For the simple reason that one, since the Gambia is on fire, it is better you people go back to your countries. Your people should know then the country which I come from is on fire. But your citizens will not stay away from Gambia and you stay in that country which is on fire. It's not fair. So I put them on persona non grata. Barely 4 hours later, James Molly Scott, who was the dean of the diplomatic corps, at the same time the High Commissioner for Liberia in the Gambia, with Imam Ratib of Banyun, Imam Ablai Job, they came, and 2 other dignitaries, I cannot remember exactly. They said, I have to stop that persona non grata. I said, no. The condition here is very clear. They have to go, they leave the house in fire, they must go back to their countries and declare that Gambia is on fire, that's why I cannot stay there. And then they said, okay, we will come back to you. They went, after 2 hours, they came back, this was at the residence, and then they said, we have asked our people to come back to the Gambia. I said, farewell, a good deal. This was one example.
Thank you. The final question is, I would like to hear your suggestions for institutional reform as part of our Never Again campaign. Thank you. Okay. You could include this in your concluding remarks.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Kindi.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioner Kinte. Sabally.
Please.
On the 11th,
okay,
early in the morning, you made an announcement.
Correct.
Informing the general public that some soldiers lost their life as a result of foil coup.
Correct.
And it was in a fight. Actually, it wasn't a fight, technically, because these people were already captured. In fact, from Yundum to Mile 2 to Fajar, and they were executed.
Correct.
Again, normally when people were less, even if you regard them as enemies, which is unfortunate, because people of the same country should rather regard each other as rivals and not enemies, because maybe one time or the other their differences will be resolved and they will become one and the same.
Correct.
That should be the national spirit.
Correct.
Yes, I thought they deserved, as mentioned earlier on by the council or whatever, a more healthy, humanly treatment even at their burial time. But that's not the point here. Why in the barracks and not in the forest where they were shot, or given to the people, or in a cemetery, which is the norm, is normal. It's very unusual to isolate few corpses and bury them in a special place, especially where people don't have easy access. Where both actions not concealing the truth about what transpired, one. And two, I thought over the years, after this time, after you have aged so much and you've learned a lot of you've got a lot of experience and so on, don't you think if it were this time you had captured these people, you would have either tried them, give them due process or whatever, rather than summarily executing them and being even indifferent about their rights? Thirdly, yes, those days you thought the Geneva Convention was a fallacy. You don't regard it at all. But again, after aging and after gathering a lot of experience at this time, after 24 years, 25 years, what is your perception about and your regard for the convention? And in fact, if you have anything in that, part of it you may keep for your conclusions.
I am very grateful to this question. Actually, it's like you remove it from my mouth. I was going to address that to my dad here, Dr. Sise. In Mandinka, the way I said it yesterday, I would say it in Mandinka, I would not stand here or anywhere and say, Dr. Sise misunderstood me. No. but it's the way I put it yesterday. And I didn't mean the Geneva Convention is not a good instrument. That would be cheating myself. Because when I went into prison, after 2 months, 3 months, into my 3rd month, I was visited by the International Committee of the Red Cross. And this was by the help of the Geneva Convention. And when I left the prison, I asked for asylum in Senegal. It was under the Geneva Convention. When I went to Germany, I asked for asylum. I was under the Geneva Convention. What I wanted to say is that during a battle between two forces, these laws are hardly respected. And that is where if I could put it correctly, that's what I wanted to say. But not that the Geneva Conventions were totally shit. Sorry for the language. Right? And I give an example. In 1602, in Geneva itself, the Geneva city itself had tall walls, long walls, high walls, and the emperor of Savoy wanted to overtake this city. And when he came in the night with 2,000 personnel, mercenaries, they called them, they came with long ladders to try to scale the walls of this Geneva city. And from there, this incident is called l'Escarte. Every year, they celebrate it on the 12th of December. What happened, there was even a lady called Catherine Chele. They call her Mère Royam. She had 14 kids, and in this particular night, she was cooking soup for her kids. How people didn't come to understand why she took part and denied her kids this soup, this cauldron, big cauldron of soup. She looked, because she was living up, and then she saw these soldiers trying to scale with the long ladders to scale the long walls or the high walls. She poured this soup on the soldiers trying to scale the wall. And then the alarm came, they rang the church bell, and then the inhabitants of this city took arms, and then they fought with these mercenaries. Out of these 2,000 mercenaries, they were able to kill 54 on the spot. They lost about 13 or 12, if I can remember the story. And then they also captured 13 of these mercenaries. Right in the morning, they hung all of them without any due process of law. That's fine. This is 1602. When the Geneva Convention came in the 90s, if I'm right, 1949, then this was already centuries ago. However, I'm not trying to defend what we did as not part of the Geneva Convention. No. But it's just to show that I now borrow my landed friends' words. The mindset of the soldiers in battlefront. There you are not seeing anything but to crush your enemy. And this is where our problem is when we are in battle. These rules and regulations in the Geneva Convention, hardly they are respected, if I had expressed it properly.
What I want to say is, at this, whether after all the years elapsed,
Okay.
if you were brought back to do the same thing, but with this age and experience, would you have paid heed to that part as war prisoners and you take them to court and take due process, or would you still maintain that you will summarily execute them because that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
To answer your question directly, I would not execute them because I have learned my lesson. I've become matured. Then I was 27 years old. I had nothing to prove, but I felt I had something to prove. Meaning I was a soldier, I was an officer. I had soldiers under my command, and it was my duty at that particular point to see that they come home alive and safe. That was what I had wanted to prove, but anybody can say there was nothing to be proved. Feel like maybe my landed man would say, no, you had nothing to prove, and I would quite agree with him. If that date were to be brought today, I would act in a different way, more maturely and more humanly.
Yeah, and what about the suggestion that you are concealing the truth from the public, which probably today you may have regretted? If it were today, what were you going to do? Like, one, bury all of them in the camp so that people cannot access the graves for so many years. Because of course, if it was in the forest and popularly known, some of these people would have been exhumed earlier than this time.
This time, correct.
Taken by their people or whatever. Of course, it was also going to be a scandal.
Right, correct.
That on the whole, you have summarily killed these people in the forest and buried them.
Correct.
But that's why up to 25 years today, it was very difficult to access them, to have determined their fate and so on, and put it on spotlight. Also the radio announcement, you could have simply said, well, we overcome them, captured them, executed them. In the beginning, they were 2, later 6 were taken. A true story that happened. Probably that also may suggest that you are concealing the truth. That indicates some amount of, some level of regret or inconvenience, or whatever you may interpret it. But I'm saying, as at now, if it was this moment, were you going to tell the truth to the people? Or in fact, you would not have gone that far, you would have arrested them and go the right way?
Actually, if it were today, it would have been a different issue today. I would have acted maturely. However, I would like to say, for those of them who were arrested and part of them were executed, were the ringleaders who were executed. The rest were taken before a court-martial. But as I said, if it were today, with my maturity and my wisdom, thank God, I would have definitely behaved like a mature person, without emotion or anger.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabally, for that response. And it's only 2 days. It's too quick to say quintessential Sanna Sabally, Frank Kondo, your response on the importance of the Geneva Conventions. You realize that something had happened, perhaps you misspoke on 1 or 2 things, but you came back, and that's where quintessentialism comes in, and clarified it. Very helpful indeed. Thank you so much. Commissioner Jones?
Commissioner Jones, thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Sabally, for your detailed testimony over the past 2 days. Beyond just identifying the violations that happened within the 22-year period that we're looking at, we're also trying to identify what were some of the institutional lapses such that we won't return to the 22-year period that existed at the time, most especially a coup d'etat. In your testimony yesterday, you did mention that whilst you were planning the coup, on the 21st of July in particular, you were the one who went to get the weapons from the barracks, and you kept these weapons with you even after you returned from the airport, and this went unnoticed. I just want to understand what entailed at the time to the point where it went unnoticed that such amount of weapons were out of the barracks. In terms of quantity, how many weapons are we talking about, and what was the process? I think other soldiers or other witnesses here have explained there was some kind of a logbook where they were able to record whoever is removing a weapon or taking out, signing out for the weapons that they were taking. But could you explain, I just want to understand in more detail how that went unnoticed to the point that you were able to conclude and went ahead with your plans on July 22nd?
Okay, thank you. As I said, in preparation and planning for a coup, it takes a lot of courage, secrecy, so to say. And out of this secrecy, you are able to do many things that are unnoticed. And removing these weapons from the armory was possible because, 1, I had the storekeeper on my side. 2, I knew every weapon where they were placed inside the armory. So it was easy to go there, pick them, go out, like a small rat inside a house.
So does this therefore mean that the storekeeper knew that they still were not returned back?
They were not returned back.
Okay.
Because these weapons were not our personal weapons that we use every day. If they were those type of weapons, like the AK-47 individual personal weapons, they would have been noticed.
Thank you for that answer. I asked a few questions regarding November 11th.
Okay.
some of the widows of the fallen soldiers that came to the commission testified that following the deaths of their husband, or in fact the night of November 11th, that some soldiers visited their homes and some of them were taken in for questioning. Could you please tell the commission who gave the orders to visit those widows in their residences the night of the execution?
As far as I'm concerned, to my knowledge, I have never heard it. This is the first time I heard that soldiers had visited the fallen soldiers' families.
Okay, you did say that the July 22nd coup was justified for various factors that you detailed out yesterday, but you referred to the November 11 coup as a treason. What's the difference between these two coups?
They are both treason. They were both, like, if I would explain, like on Tobaski Day, the way we slaughter our rams, we cut the jugular vein of the sheep. It is treason is just like that to the state. The difference here between 22nd July and our 22nd July and 10th November is that ours was a successful coup, theirs was a failed coup. That's the only difference.
Okay, one more question.
Okay.
You had said that the initial plan of the junta, the council, was to stay in power for 6 months.
Certainly
but
correct.
Then this eventually changed. What are some of the factors that you think led to Jammeh's change in desire to extend beyond the 6-month mandate that you guys initially agreed to?
There we will come to the collective. I am not quickly trying to throw mud on everybody, but these were part of the individual and collective failures. I will not say the institutional failures, but these were outside the institutions, they were individual. Because I learned, first, as I said, when Baba Job came, Soldau, Jobate, and Barry, to try to talk me out to accept forming a youth organization, this 22nd July Youth Movement, I learned similar approaches were made, especially to Sukuta and Burfoot. And from there, even before my arrest, delegations had approached us to extend our stay in power, particularly Burfoot and Sabally. And later I come to understand, whilst I was in the prison in '96, that to say it in Mandinka or in Wolof, Sukuta ak Burfoot ñoo ngemba jaaya pour mu simit uniform bi mu taxaw as a civilian candidate for the presidency.
So in short, it was external forces or external pressure.
Exactly.
Okay, finally, we've also had some witnesses, one of whom was the former Minister of Agriculture at the time, O.J. Jallow,
Correct.
who said, who explained their own ordeal as well during that time, and in particular mentioned that you visited him 4 times to arrest him. So I would like, in your final remarks, since you had the opportunity to apologize to some of the victims yesterday, if you could also just apologize to OJ and the crew or the other members that were arrested at that time as well.
To OJ and all the PP ministers who were manhandled by myself and my guards, I said wholeheartedly, I am very sorry, deeply sorry, and I regret the incidents to have happened.
Thank you. This is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Imam Jallow. You have the floor.
Imam Hussein Jallow, witness. You found a note inside Barrow's pocket.
Correct.
Indicating names of people who are involved in an attempted coup.
Correct.
Did you and your group ever ascertain whether actually that list was written by Barrow or was not planted in his pocket for the purpose of carrying out the intentions to wipe out 11 Gambian lives unnecessarily? That's the first question.
Okay. Do I come in? Okay. To ascertain or not to ascertain, here we have not done that, but personally, I am the one who found this book in his map pocket. Whether he was the one who wrote it or not, I did not ascertain that. But for me, it was enough, the content of in the book was enough for me to know what plan they had against us. Thank you.
Question is,
Please.
what advice would you give to young army officers presently serving against toppling a legal government in view of all the experiences you have gone through and what has happened to this nation for the last 22 years? Thank you.
To the military or the security services in the country, I am saying do not fall on the track we fell. Fine, if you look at any issue, there are two sides to a story. If we had failed in our duties as officers and men of the Gambian National Army, the state also had failed. But here, this is not the defense I'm putting forward. You have asked me to talk to what advice I would give to the armed forces. I am saying let us stay in the barracks. If you have any problem, as we did before, try to find out where to address those issues. There are officers also I would advise, please, for God and heaven's sake, for the sake of our nation, take the complaints from the junior officers, the men, and forward it to the right chain of command, and make sure that it is not only enough to forward their complaints, but also to make sure that these are followed until solutions are made out of it.
Thank you. Before we give you the opportunity to make your concluding remarks, Mr. Sabally, Commissioner Carr has indicated that he left out two short questions. I hope you make them short. We'll come to you. Bishop, you want to ask for the floor as well. Commissioner Carr, can you hold up a little bit since you had the opportunity earlier? Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Sanna Sabally.
Please.
May I ask, what is the role of the military in a country?
Do I comment? Yes, please. The role of the military in the country is the defense of the state. The primary function of the military is to defend the territorial integrity of the country and to uphold the standards of the Constitution.
And you would agree with me not to involve themselves in governance?
It depends on, Bishop, from where you look at it.
It's quite an answer. Thank you. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Or do you want me to delve more on that answer, please?
Well, actually, you did not answer the question.
Okay. Can you pose the question, please, again?
I said, do you agree with me that since the role of a military is to defend the state and property, that you are not supposed to be involved in governance of the country?
Okay. Before, my understanding was that we were to uphold the Constitution and the territorial integrity of the country, but I am made to understand now that the army have to stay completely out of politics, and I hold that line correct. And thank you for your advice. And
thank you, Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I left out two questions, and the first
please.
is in relation to some of the committees we have in the Commission. What happened to the two ladies that you mentioned were tortured, and did they develop any subsequent complications out of that?
Yeah, one to this day could not conceive any baby, and the other one could never go to bed with a man.
Thank you. The second is in relation to the ban that the junta imposed on political activities at the time. What informed it?
Sorry, please?
The ban on political parties at the time. When you took over, you imposed a ban on political parties. I'd like to know what informed that decision.
What formed that all?
Sorry?
I don't get your question clearly, please.
When the junta took over, there was a ban on political parties.
Right.
Yes, I would like to know what informed that decision. Thank you.
Actually, we wanted to first consolidate ourselves, and we felt if we had let the political parties at free will, there was going to be a lot of disturbance in the administration of the country. So as such, we gave ourselves some time to say, okay, we ban the activities of the political parties until such a time that we felt the waters have calmed down, then we could open the gate so that all political parties can take part. But as I said, for me, this is not going to come into play because we are going to hand over in 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Imam C. You have the floor.
Yo, Madam Heti.
Hakule mbarano be fajara.
Hey.
Imam.
Imam,
could you allow for the interpreters to take position before you proceed, please? Imam, dañ lay ñaan nga xaar interpreter yi ñu jël seen place su ko defee ñu mën a déggale ngay laajte mais foog naa pare nañ mën nga continuer.
mbarano be fajara dido mbarano be ton.
The two who were killed in Fajara,
Nega do me de yundum.
when you brought them in Windum,
On ube nyanden wala ko weti ton kadi ngartudon nawdon beeda.
did you bury them in the same day or you buried them
Wala lu
when you went on
fo
Kolabel? Or it happened in the same day? The same day, we buried them in the same day.
Nawno be ladde to kadi ko homo waktu nawdon be ko suba kan ko nyalaw.
The one you took at the forest, what time did you take them at the forest? Was it in the morning or in the afternoon?
I had the kiki then.
In the afternoon.
Kikide.
In the afternoon.
Hawro jemma.
It went on. Then Maghrib, it was not yet Maghrib prayers.
Nam lal dimal ngal ne jamir ande kadi yo ware.
The second time,
Teskaaki hen hay gotto mo ganda hore ma gotto fo wari o.
you did not even mention who killed what and who.
Kono ande jamirɗande yo ware kadi ana fella on jamanu wala felli.
When you give the order, did you yourself, did you shoot or you did not shoot?
Me felli.
I shoot.
felli.
Hey.
I shoot.
E dum sewti kadi mbolol ma jetta mbolol ma jarna.
I'm praising you
E jabgo mo garda ngo haado
for you to
cettida
accept to come and testify.
te nunduda kadi kalda ko mbadda ko fof.
And you also accept what you have
Ala hen
committed.
ko cuudida ala hen ko
You did not
calida.
hide anything, you did not deny anything.
Mbilol ma hen jetta mbilol ma hen
I
jarna.
am praising you on that.
Kadi mbilol ma namdo kadi hakkunde musidɓe
Also
mbaddaɓe
asking
kadi
you-
ko hono on kadi miñorɗa hen.
The people that you offended, their relatives, what is your intention in that?
Mi hulata hen neɗɗo mi hersata hen neɗɗo.
I will not be afraid of any human being, and I will not hide on any human being.
Gilan dalmi ɗo ko alquran o nangumi he jungo.
When I stand here, I swear to the Holy Quran,
Bimi ko gonga tan kalanmi ɗo.
I will only speak the truth,
E gonga o kalmi ɗo.
and I speak the truth.
Simi feni ɗo.
If I lied here,
So onon on ganda gonga o.
if you people, you the commissioner, you do not know the truth.
Jomina Allah o tin o eno.
Allah the Almighty, who is seen us
Takɗo ne o.
and who created us,
Mo andi gonga o.
He knows the truth.
Allah tigi hoore mum wiye alquran e.
Allah Himself have said it in His Quran.
Kul jal hakku wa zaka batila inna batila kana zahuka.
The saying goes on.
Meaning ta suddu gonga o wudere ganduɗa ko wudere fenande.
Don't hide the truth, and the truth that you know is a lie.
That is, do not conceal the truth. Do not cover the
conceal the
truth with lies
With
or
lies.
falsehood while you know what the truth is. Do not conceal the truth or cover the truth with falsehood when you know what the truth is.
Ɗon sewti kadi hono caggal mum mo
And after
jaltuɗa
that-
ko leydi ndi mbar ɗum waɗanama caɗele caggal leyɗe.
Hope when you return back to the country, hope it did not give you any difficulty outside world.
Min gila ngaram mi ɗo mi miijake ha hunde si wona mi ara ɗo mi haala gonga o.
When I was coming back to this country, I did not think of anything. The only thing I have in mind is that I'm coming to this country to give my testimonies.
Si mi ruttimane si mi ruttaki fof ko battal Allah.
If I go back or I did not go back, all it is I will see that is the.
Ko jaltuɗa ko mbiɓe mbara daña caggal leyɗe to caɗele.
What I'm asking is that when you went on exile, hope you did not have any difficulties outside.
Caɗele mom hay sila galle ma caɗele na ɗon surtout sa funti
Even
leydi.
in your compound, you have difficulties rather than if you go out.
Kono noon, like the English said, there's no place like home. Galle ɓe ɗo gonɗa ko ɗon ɓuran ma sa yehi leyɗele.
When your compound is better than when you go out.
A jarama.
Thank you
Albarka.
very much.
Senator Gonga Halido and Jarama. If you have, we will now give you the opportunity to make your concluding remarks, and you can do it as council indicated earlier
Okay.
in the local languages that you can speak in. Please proceed.
Mbaɗi mandinko ana kam moylal.
Ko
ko fellow Mandinkas and those who can speak Mandinka.
I ngala tentu bake.
Great thanks to the Almighty God.
And nga Gambia dingol tentu bake.
And I'm expressing my sincere thanks to the Gambians.
And Gambia masakunda membe sirin sainte.
And the present Gambia government.
Parce que lafta mim fola tenting.
Because what I want to say now,
since
I came out of prisons and I went out of this country,
because
I love this country, because of that, I've never sat down during the day or a night, just like I was a mad person before. I was planning everything to come back into this country and get and remove Yaya Jammeh from power. But the day I had that, I planned to do that.
Through the coalition.
That's the day I stopped that when President Barrow took over the country. That's the day I stopped planning to come and remove Yaya. If I name names today, people will start speculating. So many people in the diaspora were talking, beating their chests. We removed Jammeh from the government. They tried something, everybody tried something. But there were many who were on the ground. They didn't come out into the open. Those who were beating their chests, their love for this country was not more than those who were on the ground. And today I will name two people among Gambians. If I name these two people, just to show, we never sat down complacently.
Suleiman
Ndao, he never sat down or he never rested.
Ibrahim Silla, Minister to be information.
I will call another one, Ibrahim Silla. He's the Minister of Information presently.
Amadou Ba, Minister of, I don't know which ministry he has now.
Ahmad Ba, I cannot say which ministry he's heading. But I will raise up my hand. Anyone who beats his chest to show that I'm a true Gambian, you cannot be more than these three people I named. So I will say that it is everybody's effort that moved Jammeh from this country. And I'm coming back to the army. What I am begging from the soldiers, stay in your barracks.
Don't
say Sana and Co did this, they succeeded and I will also do it. Don't do that. Things can look alike, but they are different. I want to say it in Wolof. But I said in Mandinka. So many people, when Jammeh left this government, they were beating their chests, saying that we removed Jammeh from power. And where they were was very far from the Gambia. But I can say they were in the Gambia too. Because Jammeh has gone, everybody will say that it is me who removed Jammeh. But there were people who were on the ground. What they were doing is known to only God. This is why I said Suleiman Ndao, Ahmad Ba, Ibrahim Silla, they never closed their eyes. Day and night. They were thinking, planning how to come and remove Yaya Jammeh from this country. And they planned to do it in a way which will not come with trouble in this country.
Diplomats in different countries.
They went to many places, to diplomats in different countries,
weigh down on Jammeh,
so that they can have something to do which will remove Jammeh here.
Kon man suma gisee ni di door dina dine man mako gene.
If I see people beating their chest saying that I removed Jammeh from the Gambia,
dama de suuf rek ma noppi.
I will just laugh and keep quiet.
Gambia banko,
this country, this Gambia,
ntol bele dentala.
It belongs to all of us.
Comme Samson yakanyama in the Bible,
just as Samson did in the Bible.
Ni banko la pillars ol bondi asangol boylantol bele kanjang.
If you remove the pillars from the house, it will come down.
Woto nying TRRC.
So this TRRC,
nje kum
follow.
Ntele nyanta kontana kuola.
I should be the most happy man about it.
Parce que sanyi monni flow, sanyi monni lulo be kono.
Because these 25 years,
dokoti je mol man lipa menna.
There is no stick which people didn't take and beat me with.
They
said everything about me.
They
go even to my family. There is nothing that they didn't tell my family. There is nothing they didn't write in this internet. But I know I didn't want to talk until a day like today.
Testimony day.
On my side, it looks like the day of confession or the day of testimony. Since this TRRC started, maybe many people will not know, but I want to clarify it here. I started planning to come to the Gambia. But the passport I was having,
of course, no problem. Of
course, I had a problem in this country. I fled the country. I can go to every place except the Gambia. That's why I was unable to come the time I wanted to come. Until when God's time came on Saturday,
the Gambian embassy staff.
I thank the Gambian people. I thank the Gambian embassy, the ambassador, and his staff.
And na brother lead council
plus my brother, the lead council, I want to thank him.
And in the whole TRRC.
And the whole TRRC. Because he cannot go it alone. We talked on the telephone. I said, I'm coming to the Gambia. There are many people, friends and the like, and some family members who said, no, Gambia is a no-go place for you. I said, okay, I won't go. Tell the TRRC that I want to talk to them through Skype. But even the day I was leaving Dakar to come to the Gambia, one of my friends was aware of it. Because he left Dakar and came to the Gambia on Friday. He went back to Dakar on Monday. That Monday morning was the day I left and came to the Gambia. When I told him that I'm going to the Gambia, he opened his eyes on me just like something terrible has happened. I told him, I'm going to the Gambia. I'm not going there to tell them the truth. But I will tell them the side of my story. Gambians can weigh it for themselves and remove the truth from lies. That's why I am here. Because we were in darkness within these 25 years. This is why Commissioner Kinte said we hid things. Yes, it's true. Because we didn't open our mouths to clarify things. But me, myself alone, just as I said, there were so many things written on the internet, questions and so on, but I kept quiet all along. I kept my mouth shut until a day like today. So I will say at this point that TRRC, I will tell the whole Gambians that anyone who was a soldier, whatever you go through,
jannin TRRC bine kammala
before TRRC will come for you,
yes singo wuli danken ena futela
come yourself to the TRRC and show yourself.
ye lungo dilela
They will give you a day,
yet wato dilela
they will give you time.
yela kuol fo yalo nyame
You come and say and tell them the truth, how you know the truth.
itol be tonya bon la fani yakonole
They will be able to know the truth from lies.
parce que ninnata janga fani yal dabal nga la nyow kan
But if I come here and tell lies,
tumondo atol talonna
maybe they will not know it.
bari alamani masatala menda
But the Almighty God who created me
abalondilan
will know.
andu abafuntin la banten
And so one day God will reveal it.
na principle mu munati jang
My principle here is
wala nyinti ko
that's this.
nsinano jande nga fani ya dabal
I can come here and tell lies.
bari ndam male be nyinge bang hani
But I was not alone there.
oto minu ben mfeño ibinaje ne toñafo
Those who were with me will also come here and they will tell the truth.
senin sama
Tomorrow,
ntabe kala nyaadile
but how am I going to look at the Gambian people? Or how am I going to live here?
ninko hani ala mawala nse ala soki
If I say God doesn't know that, I'm doing something against God.
bari fo kuma folom drong
But it's just to say a word, say something.
mbeki baro min kila sa banta
The news I want to send out now,
I am sending it to Yankuba Toure,
I'm sending this news to Yankuba Toure,
Edward
Singate,
and Yaya Jame.
and Yaya Jammeh.
Lafta nge dane anin kila
I want to beg them, for God's sake,
ye fero be kata
let them plan by all means,
ibe daoda
wherever they are.
ye fero kata ina TRRC
Let
nyito
them try and come and face the TRRC.
tanatige
There's nothing wrong in it.
ni tanabiye tonya folom
If there is anything wrong, just come and tell the truth.
na tonya fo nyoe
Let's tell each other the truth.
banko e tanyato
The country can move forward
ngabo dimbawule ngokono
so that we can come out of the fire that we were in.
banko dole TRRC kele
Some countries also held the TRRC like this. Rwanda,
South Africa,
Liberia
ndala jang,
Liberia just near us, Sierra Leone,
and
not long ago Canada did it.
Andung I am mekontanim bake,
and I'm very happy.
Parce que all TRRC composition o gibe.
Because if you look at their composition of their TRRC,
ila banku dingol nim banku din dolle be jaka seringe.
Their citizens were mixed with others or mixed with foreigners.
But min TRRC,
but this TRRC,
mfangola banku dingol is pure Gambian.
It's purely Gambian affair.
Wala nyinti ko mbe nyola culture understand nale.
That means that we will understand each other's culture.
Ngana saim fangola kuoto.
I'll come to myself now.
Gambia mumembal hakedanila.
The whole Gambia, I'm appealing to you.
Kamo hakedani.
To appeal to you and beg.
Karafulalom.
Two things.
Ye meng iboita meng kasida.
The people you offended.
Wolfanam foing is a insotno isondamo kono kayam fota.
So that they will have forgiveness in their hearts.
Tonyalom.
So it is true.
Momo se wulno na konyo ko sana idabiti.
Anybody can get up here and say, Sanna, shut up.
The
hardship you meted on the people,
those
who died, because to stand here and say, please forgive me, will not bring those people back. But it is true. Anyhow, what I can say is, I'm appealing to you, I'm begging you people. When I was leading and the soldiers who were following me, whatever we did wrong, and it is not the right thing to do, I'm begging all of you, please, I'm begging for forgiveness in my name and those who were following me. Just as I said, I was a kid, or I was a child, or a young person in those days. I was not experienced.
Alhamdulillah.
But today, I thank God. I have reached an elder's position. It means that I now know what is good and what is wrong. If I can have it my way.
November 10, November 11.
November 10 and November 11.
Those
who died in our hands. I would like to see their families,
to
appeal to them and beg them for forgiveness.
I come back to the the institutional failure of the country. I come back to now I want to talk in English, please. Okay, I come now to the institutional failures of our country on or before the 22nd July 1994. As we all say, at the time we had corruption to our necks. We were swimming in corruption. It was nothing but everybody was for him or herself. And these were some of the main roads that we rode on to get to where we had to go to on the 22nd July to take over the reins of the country from the former ruling PP party. My little advice, I'm still young among elders here. If you are within the elders, you must not raise your voice, for the elders know better than you. However, since I have the opportunity to be asked what I would advise to the public, I take this opportunity to say what I want to say now. In this institution, we have a culture where if everything is going right, I am responsible. When something goes wrong, somebody is responsible. In government, I had personally, I never rested. I give an example one day. I went to the clinic in Sukuta. It was around 6, 7 in the evening. It was my normal patrol control. I go alone. I went to this clinic. I found the nurse on duty was not there. I asked the watchman, where is the nurse? The watchman immediately wanted to beat me. And I explained to him, I was the vice chairman, and then I wanted to see the nurse on duty. He said in Mandinka, atatala kambano leya. Nka maninka ngola, atata mintole akatatala kambano leya. Nka isen sambanoje bang akonyako manjelong. Nga akonyima sambanoje bimbe sambalale.
I told her, if you don't take me to the place, I will take you. I will go with you to wherever I'm going to. And he said to me, I know that place. So he got into the vehicle and we left. We took left and right turns until we got to the compound. When we arrived, we knocked at the door. The man came out. He stood and asked me, what are you doing here? I said to him, I am asking for the nurse who is on duty at the hospital. He said to me, if you do not leave this place, I'm going to do something to you. I said to him, whatever you will do, but I've come here to pick the nose. He took a position, wanted to hit me, and I announced to him that I was the vice chairman, Sabally. I think at the time the nurse heard my voice, and she came out running. I said to her, get into the vehicle, and she got into the vehicle, and so we left with the watchman. We got back to the clinic. As we got to the clinic, we found the women.
Ladies were in labor.
We found women in labor. They were assisting each other.
Minister of Health Kumandi.
That was the day that I called the Minister of Health.
Fatoumata Tambajang.
Sorry,
Fatoumata Tambajang.
Fatoumata Jallo Tambajang.
I said I'm at Sukuta Clinic.
I told her to come to the Sukuta Clinic.
Her
husband said to me, why would you be calling my wife this time of the night? And I said to him, well, this is part of our work. When Fatoumata arrived, it coincided at the time when this woman was assisted and she'd already given birth. And she had a baby boy. And they named him after me.
Another incident at the Serekunda hospital, for example. Incident of Serekunda clinic.
Another incident happened at the Serekunda clinic. We once left Latrikunda Sabiji. Those that got left came from Latrikunda Sabiji. I think everyone would know Master Jata. How his wife was brought to the clinic.
Kabrin samanda for 5 o'clock.
From morning time up till 5 o'clock.
Musobe timoto.
The woman was in labor.
No sobe sirim bantebe atayala.
The nurses were outside brewing attire.
Natan dunta ko danga musa yata tara siring ayak bulol akumuta bulol kono.
I arrived, went inside, and I found Master Jata. His head was buried in his hands.
Malo no wato katel Master Jata tele.
At the time, I did not know him to be Master Jata.
Ngano so nyininka.
I asked the nurse.
Ate Master Jata fan follow janjanta.
Master Jata himself was the one who was angry.
Akonye ko hanan sirim banta.
He said to me, she's out there seated outside.
Akamunta nga nyininka question la komi mune siyang.
It's like I asked him the question, what is your purpose of being here?
Sign 5 o'clock.
He said to me, I brought my wife here since morning up to 5 and she has not been attended to. I turned and returned back to the door. I asked for the nurse. Those that were seated brewing attire, they all scattered. I held her, brought her inside and told her to assist the women.
Minister of Health command again.
I then called the Minister of Health again.
Transfer in the provinces.
Those two nurses, I requested that they be transferred to the provinces.
Now I come to my own situation in the office to show that there were institutional failures along lines. My own permanent secretary, my own secretary at the vice president's office, Sehu SR Njai. Aketa Arabalumoliti, 3 people were supposed to travel to Dakar, Nyantala Seminala.
Mosaba Nyantala Dakar Kata Karamulaji.
Mosabo Inata, Ikonyoko Vice, Nkonam, Ikonyoko Laptayam Fu Motola.
These 3 people came to me and told me, Vice, we want you to borrow as a vehicle. I gave them a vehicle. They told me that they will be leaving the country tomorrow, Thursday. That Thursday, they left here and went to Dakar. On Friday, this Sehu SR Njai,
I list on nothing.
He brought a list for me.
Vice Gawal sign bini
He told me, Vice, be quick and sign this. These people are the guys who left here.
He told me, sign this paper, Vice, quickly because these people are leaving right now to Dakar.
Okay. He told me, sign this paper right away. These people are supposed to leave here right now and go to Dakar. They are supposed to travel by Senegal Air. If they are here up to 12 o'clock, the flight, they will miss the flight. He didn't know that those people had already left the day before. When I took the list from him, I saw these 3 names. Apart from those 3 names, they added other names there until it became 16 names.
Everything together.
If you look at it at that time, these 3 people, their per diem, their hotel bills, all added together,
$20,000.
It was below $20,000.
But list of Menata,
the list they brought,
it was 4 million plus.
It was 4 million plus.
Sign.
He wants me to sign that document. With the help of God, I saw that mistake.
MB Wada Kumandi, the Secretary General.
I called MB Wada, the then Secretary General.
A meeting of Kumandi.
I called for a meeting.
Sehu Sise Kumandi, who was the chairman of the PSC.
I called Sehu Sise, who was the chairman of the PSC. I showed him this problem.
Under the PSC laws.
They looked at it on the PSC laws.
Sise Konyeko dismissal is the case.
Sise told me that these people should be dismissed.
But
maybe I don't have enough time.
When we come to these institutional failures,
if we come to institutional failures,
everybody was taking part and everybody was part and parcel of these institutional failures. Yeah, I have my reason. And it is because everybody was there for himself or herself, we failed to make the checks and balances we were supposed to make. It was even like that in the military, in the army. People don't respect the institutions of the state. We take them to be nothing but only belonging to this government. And if I may ask, who is this government? Are we not the government? Therefore, let us respect the time to work. When I was there as vice chairman, I made sure that everybody was at work from 8 o'clock to 1600 hours. And I had a proverb, I changed it. People say, you can force a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. I changed it. I will not force the horse to the river, but if you are at the river, you will drink. Right. Tres Drame can attest to that. I once went around and I found 17 ladies, all our secretaries, on one typewriter. Then we didn't have computers in the government, if there were maybe very few. And I asked them, what is your job here? I am secretary, and you secretary, and you secretary. And we came to find out all these 17 ladies, they were transferred to the provinces. For over 4 years, they all refused to go because maybe Sanna is my uncle, Sanna is my brother, Sanna is Demba is my father. I told Tres Drame, bring me a paper and a pen, because we had a list of where we had shortages of secretaries. I closed my eyes, I took the pen, I put it on one name and one name for a school, for example, until we finished these 17 people, ladies. We left only one there who was supposed to be Ngaminta at the typewriter remain.
The one that we found at the typewriter, we allowed it to remain.
And the rest were transferred immediately. And one was there, she was my sister, so to say, extended family. The father is from Lamen, the family is from Lamen, but she has ever refused to go on postings beyond Serakunda. He said even Lamen was a bush town. And I have no doubt if we all would feel the same way, we would not go to the provinces for posting because the province is a bush. I come from Kasakunda. I only see the moonlight. I am appealing to the state. I'm appealing to everybody, every Gambian. Let us respect ourselves in work. Let us see that we go to work, we deliver the work. The European countries are not better than us. They came from a point and they are today developed. We call them developed countries. We are underdeveloped countries. That is total false. We can be developed as they are. The government is not foreigners. In the government are Gambians. Let us help each other to get to where we want to get to. Our past should not be our future. We cannot change our past, but we can change the future, and that we need together. The Gambia we have it today, what we need is Gambian unity, forgiveness, but before the forgiveness, confession to the realities of our mistakes, our misdeeds, and then we forge ahead for a reconciliation, and we look for a better future. Let us not let a dark past cloud a brighter future. And to the journalists, I am not anti-journalism. I am only anti-insincere journalism. Let us give the information as how it is. If you are privy to an information before you publish it, please find out, investigate. It is not wrong to wait for 2-3 days to get to the core of the information you're going to deliver to the people, because you are our people who will give us the information. You are there to teach us, to direct us, but also to warn us. Give us the correct information. I thank you all, fellow Gambians. I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabally, for those closing remarks, and again, for your candor and for the time that you have taken as a brave man to come back to country that had a difficult past with you. Very few people do that. Very few people want to face the truth. Especially, as I said, I keep on repeating the word candor. But we thank you enormously for your testimony and for coming to help this commission to carry out its mandate as given to it by the National Assembly. I also would want to thank the people who made great efforts to facilitate your appearance here. The Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General's office, the investigators here, the legal team, and the entire secretariat had all worked tremendously to make sure that your travel here is arranged properly and adequately. I want to thank them all very much. This would bring us some... Council, you wanted to say something before I proceed there? Please, go ahead.
I am just pleased to announce that we have just received information from, I'll just read the information as it is received. So it is, please, can you kindly tell Commissioner Cisse and Esafal that I, Matisala, the late Abdoulaye Ba's wife, has forgiven wholeheartedly for his honesty and truthfulness for the crime he committed. I think, Mr. Chair, you may wish to comment on that. I think it is quite laudable that this family is willing to forgive, even without meeting with Mr. Sabally. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's a very good development. This is what we think we know ourselves, Gambians. Tolerant, forgiving, and understanding. Very difficult path, very difficult for some countries and societies around the world to go over that. But it's a reconciliation thing. I would ask the chairman of the Reconciliations Committee to perhaps say a few words here and then thank them as well. Imam, you have the floor, please. Imam Jallo.
Mr. Chairman, this message is very important for all of us. But more important for our brother here, who has come here to say all that he did and say it in the most noble way. It is as a result of this that this message has come to us. We congratulate you and we thank you. But for the other people who are still behind, it is important that you come to this commission. Our intention is to heal, to forgive and to forget, and so that it will never happen again. I entreat everybody who is involved, who has something to offer this commission, to come forward, and we are looking forward to meeting you. Mr. Sabally,
Yes.
Ajarama.
Can I say something? I want to make an appeal. I would like to offer my services to the state, to the TRRC, psychoeducation, psychotherapy to my victims free of charge, if it is possible. But also, I want to appeal to the government of the Gambia through this TRRC. There is a project, it was a German project, I was running it. It was supposed to be meant for Senegal and the Gambia. But the moment I have to come to the commission, the project was stopped to come to the Gambia. And I felt it is unfair, but it belongs to the German state. They have their rules and regulations as to how they handle our international community in which Gambia belongs to. I am appealing to the government of the Gambia and the TRRC, please, for God and heaven's sake, the project, Gambia needs it more than Senegal. If possible, I would make an appeal that the TRRC meets the Gambia government as soon as possible. You also in turn meet the German government, that is the ministry responsible for international and international social about, meaning working together in the international community, and the GEZ. You try to get this project to come to the Gambia as soon as possible. They just suspended it, but please talk to the government to help the Gambian government to bring this project to the Gambians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sabally, for that information. We will follow up on it. This brings us to the end of
Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry for interrupting. Before you suspend this session, I just wish to say that Mr. Sabally came here voluntarily on the basis of assurances and undertakings that the Commission gave to him. He did not ask for immunity. He did not ask for anything. It is just his desire to come out and speak the truth and clear the air about what happened, which motivated him to come, because he believes that the Gambian people deserve to know the truth. Now we have heard Mr. Sabally. He has held up to his own side of the bargain. Now it is our responsibility as a people to also hold onto our bargain. He is a free man on his way to Gambia. He would be a free man going back to where he came from. I implore the general public to respect the arrangement we have with Mr. Sabally and to also respect his dignity as a human being. We cannot afford to go back to those years wherein we can castigate and lambast each other and say anything simply because one has fallen foul of the law. We have to respect the law and to respect his dignity. It is only that way we can move forward as a people. So I encourage everybody to give Mr. Sabally his peace of mind. The law will take its course at the appropriate time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for those wise words. So said, this brings us to the end of the proceedings today.
One last point, Mr. Chair. It's becoming habitual. I just put in my exhibit. It should 0047. I'm sure you wouldn't have any problem with that. It's the investigative report. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have another interruption?
No, sir.
You probably need a lunch interruption. But just want to thank you all. So I said, not just the end of today's proceedings, but also the end of the fourth session of the Commission. Remember, the Commission at the plenary level here holds these public hearings 3 weeks in a row as we go on. His first one was in January 7th to the 31st, second February 11th to the 28th, third 11th March to 28th March, and the fourth 8th April to the 25th today. This brings us to the end of a session. It's not that the Commission would stop work. No, it's just the public hearings that we would take a break from, and the work of the Commission continues with committee meetings as well as outreach activities. So we are not closing shop. It's just the public hearings that we are suspending during the month of Ramadan. So we resume here after Ramadan immediately on the 10th of January for the fifth session, which, sorry, 10th of June, my apologies, 10th of June, from 10th to the 27th of June, where would be the fifth session, and we would advise you in a timely manner what would come up on the 10th of June. But again, thank you all enormously for the attention, and thank the public really for assisting us in this endeavor that's been given to us by the National Assembly. Thank you all very much. Meeting is adjourned, and we see you June 10th.